Come on, you baby. Okay. Hello, folks. Hello. Let me just unmute myself there. Hello, folks. Welcome to the GhostÉire Channel. My name is Anthony Kerrigan, and tonight, wait, I've gone the other way around now. I've got to reverse myself there. Tonight we are talking to Louise Fagan, also Aodhan Quinn, and also Corey Davenport from North East Paranormal Ireland. Great to see you there, folks. Can you all see me?
Yeah.
We lost a couple of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
We lost you for a wee second, but you're back.
Can you see me, Aodhan?
Just don't tell him that. Yeah, I can see you. I can see it perfect. Yeah.
You're back.
No, just
back again there. Sorry there, folks. Sometimes there can be a bit of a delay there, or there's like just technical issues there as well. As you can see, I'm reversed the other way around. So we're going to be talking to North East Paranormal Ireland about psychic, their personal paranormal experiences. Also, their also psychic development. And finally, then the final subject is going to be alternative dimensions. I'm going to shout out to you now there, folks. So, sorry now for the delay. My mouse has just gone completely lifeless. So, Trevor says,
knows what we're going to talk about.
Hi, Trevor from Paranormal Tick. Oh my god! Sorry, no. Paranormatic. Sorry. Bold and bonkers booked. How you doing? Folks? Mark Madden, how you doing, Mark? How you keeping, mate? Also, we have I think it was Joanne? Joanne as well. Sorry, now my mouse has completely gone dead. So if you can, if you have any questions, feel free to put them on this post. If you're familiar with any paranormal team or total attraction, feel free to name the group or the organisation, and I'll try and give a shout out to you if I can best pronounce the name of the team. Sorry there, Trevor and Tara. Also, we're coming live from not just here on Facebook, but also our website, www.GhostÉire.net. If you go to the homepage on the website, there's a red button called the GhostÉire Channel. Just press on that, and you will come live into the stream there. You can also check up on past shows and see what is coming up in the future there. Also, folks, we got a competition tonight where you can win cash. Okay. My mouse has completely gone. I can't go down. Anyway, so we're going to be that's about it. We're going to be talking. The first subject is going to be about personal paranormal experiences. And so I'm going to ask you, Louise, the first question. Sorry, explain about your first encounter, Louise.
Oh, okay. Where do I begin? Well, like that, I grew up in a house that wouldn't have been big believers in the whole paranormal stuff anyway. So I kind of probably like that now looking back, you know, but at the time I was very interested in space, time, all that kind of stuff, just maybe a bit of an old soul, that type of thing. And but my first experience was probably when I was trying to get into my home house. I was banging on the door and I didn't realize that my mum and dad were both out the back garden. They were doing gardening stuff and I really needed to get in. And I'd say I was probably nine or 10. I was banging on the door, and this door would be very, you know, it's a good lock on it. Like once it's closed, it was a proper, you know, it wasn't broken basically. And banging on the door, and nearly gave up. And I said, right, that's it. And next thing, you hear the lock thing go down, and it opened. And I was like, okay, thanks very much. And I just ran by and I ran off. But that was my first proper experience, and then I have a lot more after that. But yeah, but that started opening my mind. I know I was like only 9 or 10, but that really started to kind of make me question more and more about stuff and the paranormal.
Okay. And Aidan, what was your first encounter? Sorry. I don't know if there's a bit of delay here there. I might just ask you.
I know, I was going to say, you're breaking up a bit, Anthony.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but sometimes you would kind of freeze, you know.
Just do one thing there before I go on there. Corey, can you come back in? Can you come back in for in around about half an hour's time? Because I don't think it's. I think it's slowing down. We're having 4 of us on. So would that be okay, Corey?
Yeah.
Yeah. If
so will I leave this and then come back in?
Just if you come back in about half an hour, and then I might just have to swap you around there because I think it's slow here at the moment, so folks. Sorry, okay. Corey there.
No worries.
I'll come back in and go in a second. Now, can you hear me there, folks?
Yeah.
Okay. You stay on. You stay on. I'm going to refresh the page. Okay. Okay. So for my side there. Okay. Just stay on.
Trevor, Cavan causing trouble.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you hear me pure? Sorry now. Sometimes it's the old internet there. It could go so slow. What I'll do is I'll probably change around it about for the next subject there. So Aidan, can you explain your first encounter?
Well, my first encounter, I would say probably the one that's stuck with me the most would be whenever I first started driving. This was like a proper full-bodied operation where I was driving for a week, and me and my friend decided, you know what, we'll go out for a wee drive around the countryside, you know. And we were coming past. It's a place called it's Saintfield. It's about 10-minute drive from where I live. And we were driving along, and there's probably a quarter-mile stretch of road. And then as we were driving along, I noticed away in the distance, looked like somebody standing in the middle of the road. So I thought, right, slow down, just be prepared to stop, because it was literally like right in my way, you know. And as I got closer, I noticed it was a mist. And the mist was a perfect outline of a woman and a child standing next to her. And bearing in mind, my friend was very skeptical. He's one of these ones that, you know, you'll tell him a story and he's always, that could be this, it was, you know, something like natural, you know. But me and him looked at each other, and we looked straight back on the road again, and it was still just slowly moving across the road. And next thing, the lady turned around and looked directly at me, and as soon as she made eye contact with me, it was like the speed of light, just boom, gone. And I've never, you're only supposed to be doing 45 mile an hour on your first year of driving. I was doing about 80 out the road to get away from the place, because it was real. It was so from far back. You would have swore somebody standing there, but as you get up, you could clearly see right through them. It was a woman and a child. And I asked one of the locals about it, and they said that there's always somebody, there's always people that have complained about having to stop because there's been a lady standing in the middle of the road. And I says, well, I've just seen that, and I can clarify that is true,
Yeah.
Even thinking about it, even talking about it, my hair stands on end,
And I was going to.
Yeah.
Did your interest did it go up since then? Has it what I'm trying to say is, has the interest since your first encounter, has it progressed into the second, like you're doing the investigations now? Has it have you is that memory gone away more, or is it still enhanced more since you started in paranormal investigating there, Louise?
For myself, yeah. Well, like that, there started being more and more different, like seeing things and things like that. So yeah, definitely would have developed a lot more as time went on. And then I suppose in my 20s, I kind of had to put things aside and concentrate kind of on like career stuff and things like that. Well, I was doing nursing, so I just didn't really have time. So kind of since then, I've gone back into it and properly going out with the guys and doing different investigations. It definitely does start to develop on all that, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you start to see, I think you start to see more and more.
Okay, and like Aodhan, is it?
Okay. My bad, sorry. I thought you were leaving that question to Aodhan.
Is it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, there still seems to be a bit of delay there, and like, I'm sorry there, folks. Can anyone hear me on there? But I know you lot can hear me, but I don't know if the audience can hear me there. Just say if you can hear me there, because I don't know. I've got too many things going on in electrical. If you can hear me there, anybody in the audience, you definitely start to know. Yeah, I don't know if anybody can hear me there. So Aodhan, sorry. Have there been is there ever any more evidence since the first encounter to suggest there is an afterlife to you? So have you encountered since that first time? Has there been more evidence to suggest there is an afterlife survival?
Well, yes, there's been. I mean, I'll tell you. See, when it comes to the afterlife, I have my personal experience of the idea of an afterlife, or the evidence of an afterlife, was when I had a dream. See, I don't know if this is what I've told Louise this before, and it's hard to tell if it was a dream or if it really happened. But I had a dream of heaven. I was at the gates of heaven, and I remember all the colours, and it was the strangest thing. It was the strangest. That's what I mean. It's so hard to tell if it was a dream or not, because it was so surreal. It was you were nearly there. I can remember the smells. I can remember the colours that I've yet to see down here, and it's just so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you there. Sorry, Aodhan. There, I think there's a lot.
Oh no, I said no, because I thought because when you went off, I thought that we might have lost you.
No, there's a lot of technical issues there. I'm sorry now, folks. So just have to bear with us there. So carry on there, Aodhan. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and it was when I was saying about the colours. There's been so many colours up in heaven, which I think because it was so clear, and the way everything was described. But the colours, there's colours up there that I have never seen down here, and I've still yet to see them. The only way I can describe it really is if you imagine the colour blue. Say for example blue. So imagine 50,000 variants of that colour blue, and the colour red, 50,000 colours of red, of that particular red. And it's hard to explain, because you can't explain it unless you physically, or you've seen it. You know what I mean? You can only have a rough idea on what I'm talking about, but whenever you physically see it, is the only way you can really know what I'm talking about, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
And it's indeed, it's just even.
They don't want us talking about all this.
I know, I really, I know, because everything, see, even my colour's different.
Yeah. They're like, shh. Don't be saying that. Yeah.
Louise, have you noticed any difference since your first experience? Is it come to suggest that since you've been paranormal investigating, that you sort of, that experience is sort of, what you could say, have you kind of put that experience down more, degraded it, downgraded it?
You see, I like to be very, like, throughout my life, I've always been very like strict with myself, as in I'd be very scrutinizing. So I don't know. Maybe it's the way I am. I like puzzles, and I like try to make sense of stuff and things like that. So I've always been like that. So even when I was having an experience or seeing stuff and things like that, I'd always have to try and find some rationale of, could this be this or this be that or whatever. And but a lot of the stuff that I did see that I can't fully explain. And like with the shadow figure that I seen as well on holidays, like I got that confirmed by another lady that was, or a girl that was with us as well at the time. Like I would have been in, say, the sitting room, me and my cousin, and I seen him just standing there, and like he ran by the table, which we had drinks of water on, and all you could hear was a little cling, and he ran on off, and like that the next morning we were talking, and I just said it to them. I said, look, I seen this or whatever. And the girl stopped eating. She says, oh my God, Louise, I woke up to see him at the end of my bed as well. So we just kind of were like, continuing on eating. But so there was a lot of kind of things. If I did actually come out and say anything, it would be something that I couldn't understand or rationalize, and I suppose that's where the curiosity has always been. And then like this now, getting out to do the investigations, that's there we go. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out different ways of means, because there is no exact science to all this. So it is very much everyone's trying to figure out different ways of trying to figure out stuff. But I'm trying my best to show people, hopefully, what I can't fully understand. And but it's definitely, I find, yes, it's been increasing more and more, because I'm able to put certain plans in place to kind of, there's this and this or whatever. So I can be a bit more stringent. Is that the word? Stringent? Yeah. In what I'm doing now. So, but I want to as well not be thinking it's all in my mind too.
Yeah.
So all that stuff in the past, I never was able to prove it. And now, being an investigator, I feel like now you have your cameras, you have your voice recorders, you have your bits and bobs. You feel like you can kind of go off with that and try and get a bit more proof, or proof of something. What exactly it is.
Yeah.
I'm
just going to show I'm just going to show a video of the mill mount. Then we're just going to discuss about this. So this is from the mill mount, and I'm just going to explain afterwards what's happened here. So just 1 second. I'm going to play it now.
Could you make a noise? Motion. What's it detecting
now? Okay, so that was in a mill mount. Was that a light going off? Was it there, Aodhan?
See, I didn't see a video. I only heard a recording, but didn't see a video. No, not from my end anyway.
Okay, so no. Okay.
I can explain a bit more.
Do you see it, Louise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I can't see nothing. Well, I can see you, but I didn't see a video.
Oh, sorry, you can't see the video. Sorry.
Oh, the video, not I could hear her like I could hear something, but I couldn't see. There was like no video up in mine.
It's probably your Wi-Fi.
All right, I'll put the video on again there.
Yeah.
So we could see it. So everyone else could see it there. Just one second.
See, I'm trying to see if I'm
just
Aodhan,
it's play it again anyway.
Could you make a noise? Motion. What's it detecting now?
No, yeah, it's the one with the noises, like there was banging in the room, in the other room. I think that's the one it was. Sorry, no.
I might have been because I heard something that's right and seen.
Can you explain what at that moment there?
It was the night when we had all set up in the banner room, and it's just basically the body cam image that you're seeing. The video is, and you can hear us talk. That's us talking then, of course. Yeah. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah. But sorry, Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So people might have seen it. Yeah, I think there was noises coming in from the other room, and you were in another room altogether there, and there was some banging noises which were caught on the camera. I just got on sign. There's pictures as well here, Aodhan. I just got to show these as well. Can you explain about these? These are the pictures, the two pictures. I think it was sent.
Yeah.
Can you see them?
See, I can't. I know what you're talking about, but I can't see them. There's nothing coming up now. Hang on, let's see if it was. See, it's not.
Okay.
It's your uncle one.
Sick.
Okay.
But I know what they are. I know what they're because I remember sending them on to Louise, so I can have a. I can try and describe them. There's one. Well, there's two.
One of them's the background.
Yeah, there's two. There's two of the same photo. One's the just an original. It was taken from a Polaroid camera. No, when I was you take a picture and it prints out the photo. And I've run it through and I've took the light out of the background. And what the picture is my uncle's friend had died a week before, and he was always sitting in that house, or he was always sitting in that chair. And whenever the week after, one of my cousins went around and just took because I was just after Christmas, and she had the Polaroid camera, and she just thought, going to just start taking random pictures. So she took that particular picture. Nothing was said, and then next thing, the day after, she goes, "What's that there on the picture?" And you can clearly see a face, and what looks like the face, and it looks like a suit. The spirit's wearing a suit, and like obviously we didn't know who it was, and then my uncle said that was my friend who had died a week ago, and you could clearly he says that suit is what he was wearing in the coffin when he was being buried. And I thought, that's interesting. So what I thought I would do is would get the photo and run it through and take all the color out of the background so it can bring up the face more. And with that done, you could clearly see the perfect outline. And he says that is a spitting image of his friend. And he says, and that was the chair he was always sitting in. And it just so happened, fair enough. Some people could say, it could be a trick of the light or it could be this or that. But being where it was taken and the fact it was in that chair just really makes it more strange to think it couldn't be. What would the odds be of that happening on that particular spot?
Mm.
Okay. And have you ever on investigations now, Louise? Have you ever is there anything that you tweaked or you've initiated on these investigations compared to what other investigators have done? Say if there's any new experiments that you brought in, or any new techniques.
Yeah, well, I try and bring in as much as I can, but like that, it's still very much an area that you just don't know if it's 100% or not. I suppose we always have to go off like the basic logic of what we know now, like, you know, what is science now, and then try and incorporate then what we think can figure out what is then paranormal, you know. So I suppose for the last while I've been doing like white noise stuff as well, just to see, because they claim that it helps with activity, and then it also helps with voices coming through. And I do love like that from the Estet method and things like that, you know, trying to get that would kind of have gotten me intrigued with the white noise and stuff like that. So that's why I want to start testing a bit more on just pure white noise, and then maybe try different there's different styles of white noises as well. So I want to kind of delve into that and see, does it produce anything? And like that last video there we just seen, it seemed to help with, you probably remember that as well, Aodhan, that night. It did seem to, we could just hear little taps coming through on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like it's gas what picks up then in the room, and it sounds like there's someone walking around. And I would have had a security camera, well, I call it a security camera, but it goes through on a tablet, and you can live, you know, you're watching it live, and it kept coming up saying that it was noticing someone going off, setting off the sensor. So we were hearing these taps and things like that, but it's not until on review then you hear like actually someone walking. So again, I don't know, is it helping with some type of stimulant to whatever it is that's there? I don't know, but I'm open to whatever new stuff people figure out, or, you know, are saying they find this works and that works. I'd be like, brilliant, I'll try and incorporate it. But for the moment, we're kind of just delving into the whole white noise. We've been doing that for a little while. That's what we're kind of trying to focus on at the moment. But I do love my camera, and I do love my voice recorders, because I feel like I kind of rely on them. Yeah.
Joanne says it's fun to try different methods of investigation, but at the end of the day, your eyes and ears and the recorder are the best. She also says the colours common interest in Rainbow Bridge springs to mind.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, there's a problem on my side with the technical side there.
I think as well, Anthony, like, it depends on what you're wanting to gain from seeking in the paranormal as well, you know, and your belief system, and, you know, it kind of ranges. I find everyone has their own kind of what feeds their soul and what they're searching for and things like that, you know. So it kind of just differs and depends on the person, I suppose.
Okay. So we're just going to do the competition now. We're going to pick some biscuits from a lotto jar, and just to see who's going to come on and have a chance to win some cash, and also get some prizes. That's what, you know. So let's see if this works. So the first name is up. It's Trevor Murphy. Trevor, you're first. Your name is up first, so you have a chance to get some cash and some prizes. Going to stick another name up in case something happens. Technical. Corey Davenport. Corey. I won't put Corey down because he's got a chance to be in it anyway. I'm just going to pick another name. Kathy. I think it's Kathy from Pathways there. Okay, I'm just going to pick one more to be sure. And is there another one? Jennifer. I won't put Jennifer down. Joanne. You're third, Joanne. Okay, so there's an opportunity that could be your name in the competition. So we're going to go on to the second subject there. I've just probably been Corey in halfway through there, if you're still there, Corey. So we're going to talk about psychic development. And do you, Aodhan, have any capabilities yourself? I know we explained a bit already, but is there any types of other kind of psychic abilities that you hold, like telepathy or remote viewing, for instance?
Well, anything psychic abilities would be, one of the other ones would be an empath. You know, I could walk into a room blindfolded. Say if there's 5 people in the room, I could walk in the room blindfolded and tell straight away the mood of the room. If it's anger, if it's sad, if it's happy, and I've always felt that. I've always had that ability from as far back as I can remember. And it's just it's a strange thing because I'm always like seem to be if I like when I go into work and all, I can tell it's going to be a bad day because it's just and then something something would always happen. I'd have this feeling, and like I said, it's something that I haven't really worked on as such to expand it. It's just something that I have it, and I don't really say much about it because I don't want people to think, he's an odd character, But it's it's oh god, I lost my thought there. Sorry.
Sorry, my
It's
life.
all right.
I literally just had a mind blank there. God, not my don't be
But
honest.
You do a bit of channeling it as well.
Yes, it's well.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like there was that time at Milne. You can remember, Louise. With
Yeah.
we were investigating up in the hall. What would that be? Up along the second floor of the hallway.
Oh yeah.
And there was two crosses made like out of I think it's matches or something. I think it were, and
Matches, yeah.
and I think it was Louise or Corey. One of the two had moved them and set them up on a shelf like really high, and then literally 5 seconds, 10 seconds later, I swore that I thought I was having a heart attack because my chest was so sore. I mean, I've never felt pain like it. And it was proper, it was concerning me. It was that sore. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to need to go out here. I think I might need to go to the hospital because there's something seriously wrong. So Alan then said, me and Alan walked outside. And literally, as soon as I walked out, as soon as I stepped out through the door, like a flick of a switch, it was gone. And then I was sitting going, what was all that about? And then whenever I lifted my shirt up, right around my chest, right around here, there was a red mark, like a real dark red mark, as if somebody had hit me. I mean, it was as clear as day. And then I was literally, as as I was sitting there, once I walked out of the building, I was 100%, no pain, no nothing. And it was strange because I was perfect the rest of that whole evening leading up to them. And just within 2 minutes, I was in serious pain,
And have you sort of managed to manage that kind of aspect, like the channeling? Have you managed to like kind of empathy? Have you tried to enhance it or try to like is it a
Like
hindrance still
control.
to you? Like
Yeah, yeah. Well,
control.
I
Sorry, yeah.
try to, yeah, control it. Yeah, I try and control it as much as I can. Advance it in a way. I don't really. I try not to go too deep, if you know what I mean, because you don't know what these birds can be like. You don't know if sometimes if they're meaning harm, they won't come across as like someone that could cause harm. They come across someone who's polite, someone a spirit that's means no harm, and then as soon as you start contacting with it, then you could be getting yourself into a lot of trouble because they could then cause havoc. They could really hurt you, like if they wanted to. So like the way I'm at now, I just kind of I'm happy enough of where I'm at now because I'm not there's not nothing serious happens or nothing. They might channel through me and they might say a few things and all, but other than that, I'm not like one of the ones that going around destroying the place. It's just I'm just able to channel let them channel me, and then they can communicate to Louise or whoever's in the room. But I don't obviously don't realize what I'm saying. I know something's not, I know I'm being channeled, but I can't really grasp what's being said. If you know what I mean.
I understand that. I understand. And Louise, have you got any like sort of any abilities yourself in that kind of way?
Yeah. So like that, I suppose growing up, it was always like paranormal with my family wise was very much doubtful. So I kind of just kept a lot of it to myself, and I'm still a bit like that, unfortunately, to this day. I it's not until I'm getting a bit more better as I'm going out with the lads and things like that, and just opening up and saying what I see, what I feel, what I hear, or whatever, that kind of way. So I suppose I think we all have that psychic ability in us. It's just kind of like what way we kind of tune to, what way we go to. I would have grown up, I would have had a lot of more so like premonition or, what's it called, precognition and stuff like that. I'd also have retrocognition as well, which is basically you can kind of see from the past point of view as well. It's probably why I loved history as well. So it's kind of like going back and forth, but again, because I have that other side to me that always has to explain stuff, work out stuff, so it's a good thing, a bad thing, because you have this free way you want to go and just do this and that, and then you've your other self saying no, you have to do this and that. I am very interested. I heard you saying about remote viewing. I was considering actually maybe doing a course or so in that as well. I've heard of a thing called CE5 experiment as well. So, which I find quite interesting. And I know, like, I think it was the CIA as well would have used the remote viewing and stuff like that. Or they would have relied on that back a few years ago. I think there's still companies that are doing that now to this day. But I find that I wouldn't mind getting involved with that if I could. But that would be kind of more like that. I would go into a place like that. I was with Shawnee Power there as well. We were down in the presentation centre the first time I went there, and I just walked off. I was like, I'm just going to pop to the toilets, and I didn't know the story of the place. Just giving you as a backdrop, it was a nunnery, and it has a church connected to it, and it's down in Wexford and Enniscorthy. And went down to the bathrooms, and I was like, straight off the bat, whatever it was, and it's all brand new looking, boom, just hit me, and I was like, what's going on here? So I went back, and the staff was still working. Then I said, by any chance, I know it sounds a bit weird, and because like that, the place is brand spanking new. You don't know what way this. I didn't even know it was a nunnery in the first place. I just knew it was a church there. And I says, is there something about the toilets, or do you ever get an experience about the toilets and things? And your mom's like, yeah, we do, So that's kind of the stuff I would get. And then sometimes it could be like an image. It would just come to my head. I go, right, I see this man, and he's standing, and he's wearing, or he's just showing me this button or stuff like that. But I'm getting a bit better at kind of saying it to people. I'm probably too hard on myself in one way, but I'm trying to get a bit better at just saying it and not being quiet, because there's nothing worse when you stay quiet.
Joanne says, have you... Cool. I know. It's Joanne says, have you done automatic writing yourself?
No, I haven't.
No, that's one thing we haven't really done, no.
Yeah. I think I'd doubt myself if I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting topic.
Do you, Joanne wants to know, do you ever get any feelings or visions holding a second-hand pre-loved item? So like kind of psychometry?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't always just. I find that, I don't know about yourselves if you have any of this yourself, but I find it never comes on demand for me. It's just if by fluke, I could be looking at something or I touch something, and then next thing like that, I might get an image of something. But sometimes I find it doesn't even make sense at the time, and like that, I'm trying to learn to say stuff to people, because then you find out sometimes later on, you're like, oh, that's what they meant by that button. It's because of this, and he's on about his coat or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sometimes the same. I'd be like, if I was to go into a place, I'd be able to really have a rough idea of the feeling and all. But if I physically touch it, like especially like the walls or whatever, it's kind of like touching like the only way I can describe it is like an electric socket. You feel this energy, you feel like a kick. Like it's as if you have like a nuclear reaction. Everything just all manifests into one spot, and you feel everything. You feel things touching the wall, if you know what I
mean. Yeah.
Mary's got a comment there. Mary's got a statement there. She says, it's not uncommon for empaths and psychics who physically feel hurt and pain linked to how a spirit passed. Has happened to me on a few occasions. Kathy also says, I agree with Mary Nolan's comment. Bold and Bonkers Network says, once you see them, they see you. Kathy also says, I agree, Bold and Bonkers, as I saw the spirit of a monk Monk had read to him. No, sorry if I've mispronounced that there. He immediately stopped moving and looked horrified that I could see him unless he thought that I was a ghost. Yeah, so going back onto that, as we mentioned, remote viewing there, like people doing. There's new post in the Kerryman newspaper today about a psychic there doing possible remote viewing, whether that's for the missing Michael Gain. Unfortunately, hopefully the case will be solved soon there, and hopefully there's some hope and promise. But do you think like remote viewing cold cases after a long time, and like do you reckon there's a pros and cons to them, or do you reckon they shouldn't be done at all? I'll start with you, Louise, probably.
It's kind of it's a tricky one because, like, you know, there's a lot involved. There's a lot of emotion involved as well, and you know, what if you're, you know, mixing up something else with something else? You know, I like that. I find for me, I get drips and drabs of stuff, you see. So personally, I suppose I don't feel very 100% confident in it. While I suppose you could talk to another person who's a medium and be very like, oh yeah, I can do it, you know, no problem. Give me this, give me that, and I'll, you know, source out the person. But I will say it, in one way, I suppose it gives someone hope as well, that there's another means to try and find this person. Like if they've exhausted all their other means like that, they've had cadaver dogs out, they've had search parties out, and nothing's coming to avail, you know. Well, I personally, if that was me and some of my family members were gone missing, I probably would consider, you know, going down that route, or maybe trying it myself. But sometimes it is interesting because I have had that where, you know, you hear someone on the radio has gone missing, and then I just get an image in my head. And I remember there was I think she was an Irish lady. She went missing in Wales, and I could just see where she was. I could see there was the mountain. I could see exactly where she was. And like that, I was just driving to work. Usually it's always kind of random, you know. But anyway, I was driving to work and I could see it. And I just kind of kept an eye on it then afterwards, you know. And lo and behold, then she was found where the area that I seen on the TV. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly where I'd seen her. But again, but anyway, sorry, I've taken over. Sorry, Aidan, you can go on. But I think there's no harm if you've exhausted as much as you could. I think if it feels like it's going to give you some hope and something else to try. Yeah. Sorry, Aidan.
That's it. It keeps it in the news, and I suppose it's one way that can be varied. Like the Stargate project they done in America with the remote view, there they did have varied results there. Aidan, what's your thoughts on it?
I can't. Can you hear me? Because I'm trying to.
Yep.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me?
No, no. See, I can.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Oh, you're gone completely.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can see you.
Perfect.
Can you? Oh, you can see. I can see you now. Oh, yeah. Could you? Yeah, so I'm trying to. I don't know. Because my phone's starting to die. Because I'm on my phone here, trying to use a laptop, but I forgot my password.
Sorry. But what's your thoughts on remote viewing yourself there, Aidan, there about cold cases and or missing person cases?
See, the remote. See, I don't really know much on remote viewing, but I've heard stories. I've heard a lot of stories, you know, about that. About the remote viewing and like psychics and that they're being able to claim that they know where the person is or what's happened, but it's hard to really tell. You know, it's sometimes the way I see it, if a psychic claims that they say, "Oh, I have a feeling, I can see that this person who's been missing for 15 years is located is located here," and when you go out and lo and behold, there's remains of a person, you always think, I'm sure people would think, you know, well, fair enough, he's a psychic, but does that not make you think, well, how does he or she know that? Have I something to do with it? If you know what I mean? Because it's a strange. See, it's. I just really sometimes I just think it's. it's you need a bit more evidence. I think it's most times. I think it's just the kind of get information like that kind of build their own case, and they kind of go off that rather than actually using their abilities. I think it's really just um like I says, using information and then trying to piece together and say, I'm going to guess they're at this location, or I'm going to guess it's here, and hope that it's, the there, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm making sense. I think I'm talking a load of rubbish.
I get you.
If you get, you know what I mean? I don't see, because I'm not really, as I says, I
I'm just
don't
going to show
really
a video now.
know
So this is from
much
Leb
about
Castle.
that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're going to just go move on to this. This is a video from Leb Castle there, and I'm not going to explain what's happening there, but if you can see it there, folks, let us know. If you can't see it, let us know, because we're through technical issues there tonight there. So this is from Leb Castle, and okay.
Step down.
Is someone after coming in? Is someone after coming in? Is someone after coming in?
Okay, so I don't know. Can you see it, Ada? Everyone can. I can hear you now, Ada. I can't see you on the screen there. Can I can hear you like the Lord above. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, just stay on there. You're fine, actually. If that's perfect. So I just take the video. If you want, just actually, what I'm going to do now is probably. I can't see you. I don't know where you've gone. I don't know. What I'm going to do is going to bring Corey in. If you're there, Corey, come in. And probably Aiden, I'll just change you with Corey, if that's okay. There, Aiden. Okay. I can't see you there, Aiden. So, mate, if you can just log out there, if you could just log out there, Aiden, and I'll bring Corey in. All right. Yeah, no worries there, Aiden. Cheers, Bo. Okay. If Corey, if you're there, you can come on there because I've got some pictures there. Hopefully you're still there, Corey. You haven't gone away there. But can you explain what happened with the door there at the castle there?
Yeah. So like that, well, funny enough, I'll just say on the build up to it, I remember I was messing saying, oh, we're going to Lep Castle, and sure, look, they love the camera and things like that, and so like that, we turned up there and I said, right, I'm going to go out, I'm going to just get a few little shots of the place, and there was a buzz, you could feel it, if you get a kind of an energy on your head, I find that's usually going to be kind of a good night, for me anyway, that's how I would sense it. And so anyway, got the camera out, was going around and the fire's going and it's lovely. And next thing I went to look at that statue, as you can see, and next thing I hear on my left ear there, just like that. Now it doesn't pick up on the camera, but you kind of hear me in the distance, like going, huh? And like that. Now I had the camera like this here, and I was like, what's going on? Because I could hear another man that we had with us, Aodhan, and not Aodhan, Eamon. Sorry, he was down far and down the bathrooms. So initially when I was hearing these sounds, I thought it was maybe him, And next thing anyway, I turn around more and more, and like that, as you can see there, the doors were technically open. But next thing they just pushed shut. And if anyone's been to, hey Corey, if anyone's been to Lep Castle, they know that that conservatory, there's no windows that are open in it. It's window pane glass, There was no breeze that day. It was a beautiful day. It was a lovely sunny day. No breeze, nothing like that. So I don't know. It was very fluky that I had that on camera. because those things never seem to happen on camera. They always seem to be more just a personal experience. But whether they were, I do kind of wonder that, did they kind of like preempt or nearly know what we were expecting or something like that sometimes? I don't know. But that's what happened in that video, is basically the doors just shut and can't explain it. So, and like that, it was during the day, not the night, but yeah. Not that everything happens at night.
It's yeah. People would say doors, but then again, that doors have been there before there, and the doors don't move at all, like So there is occasion with drafts, as they say, up at the top of the chapel there, bloody chapel there, that they keep the door shut. That's what Sean says there. But then again, it's those things, strange occurrences do happen, especially with doors there. I personally, there, it's you experience the event, and you know more than me about that place anyway. So, and that situation there that happened there, so you have to leave it up to, well, no, speculation. It will be speculation, but then again, you have your view as well, so it could be paranormal as well. We don't know there, which we'll go on to it on the next subject, which would explain a lot more, like, why ghosts don't notice us is because they don't want to, Corey, I just go to your pictures here. These are the thermal imaging pictures here. And can you tell us what these are?
So this was when we were in not Castle, Ardgillan Castle, and I'm lying on the bed in the little room before you go down to the kitchen area. I think it was like the servants' room, and as soon as I was lying on the bed doing the Estes, I kind of felt like something was sort of like pinning my ankles to the bed, as if someone just had their hands on my ankles, and I thought it was someone in the room with me. So I took the headphones and blindfold off, and I was like, is someone touching me? And everyone said no. So I kept going, and whatever was in the room with me, it was kind of getting like real, almost protective of me. So anytime Louise put her hand near me, it was saying like, he's mine, step away and stuff like this. And then Louise put the thermal camera onto my legs, and that's what you're actually seeing in them photos, is the thermal shot of my legs. And it's like, so you can see the red bit is 28.8 degrees on that one, and then the rest of my legs don't feel, like there's no heat in them. But where I was feeling that, it just felt like someone was just sitting on my legs the whole time I was doing that. And it was just constant. Like, it didn't stop for the whole the 20 minutes or whatever I was doing the Estes method for. But that's what all them photos were, was just the different kind of heat that was on my legs at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we
going
did.
back to, sorry, go, Louise. Yeah.
No, I only just wanted to say we did ask.
Sorry,
If no, you're okay. I just, because I know Corey had his earphones on at the time, and like that, doing the Estes, and he was blindfolded, so he didn't actually know what we were picking up. If you get me, he didn't know we had the infrared, or sorry, the flare gun going at the time. And I just said, like, would you mind, if that's you, could you like move up and maybe like touch his tie or something like that. So, and then that's when the tie area, you can see there's a little bit of red then starting to form there. So, and I think then on your chest or something, and Corey was saying this, correlating this, but like that, he couldn't hear us, but he was, like saying, her name was Emma, I think it was, and and he was, oh yeah, she's oh my god, I can feel her moving up my leg, and she's touching here, and I think there's another picture as well, but yeah. So Corey didn't really know what was going on, and we're like here going, oh my god. So
yeah, I was kind of just sitting there and just hadn't a clue what was going on until we actually kind of looked back on the camera, and then I seen the questions they were asking, and then pretty much like the exact answers that I was saying back to them. So it was probably like the most intense Estes method I've probably ever done.
very interactive, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going back to psychic abilities there. So we've got. Do you reckon it could be like neurological issues such as like epilepsy, dementia, or so autism? Can that affect how people perceive spirits or encounter them?
I would say so, yeah. Like, it's kind of like people would be more almost open to stuff happening and like be able to almost see things like quicker than I would. Like when I kind of started doing the paranormal stuff, I wasn't really open to what was going on, and like I would do an Estes method and I'd get absolutely nothing. But from kind of advancing and doing more and more stuff, I've kind of become more aware and more open as to what's going on, and almost like now if I was to do an Estes method, I can almost like guarantee something will happen, or like I'll get like pretty good answers in it, whereas in the beginning I would never have got anything really.
Okay. Go to a few comments here. That Trevor says plenty of things happen during the day too. That would be true.
Yeah.
Message come up. Also, I think Mary had left a comment there. She's mentioned about the conservatory lab castle as well. So I think that's a hot spot as well, the actual conservatory.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's true there as well? You've had experiences in there?
Yeah, I would say so. Kind of one of the last times I was in Leap Castle, we had a phone in that room, and we sort of rang it from another room, and it was just stuff happening in that conservatory that we couldn't hear at the time. Like there was knocking, and it was almost like voices and stuff. It was. I definitely think there is something in that conservatory that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't focus on that area because it's not kind of one of the important rooms. But I think there is definitely something that if you were to investigate that, you'd find something good in it.
And again, it was like that. You hear like what sounds like tapping.
Yeah.
You know, on the phone, what we could hear up in the dining area, if you get me, but like that when we listen back on the recorder that was down there, there's voices. So it is intriguing, isn't it? How they seem to use as well, like the electrical stuff,
Yeah.
appliances and things like that. Like, you know, but yeah, it's quite an active little spot there.
Before we move on to the next subject, just a few more comments there. Boulder Bonkers says there does seem to be a strong connection between epilepsy and psychic abilities. Obviously, difficult to test without risking safety. That would be true as well. Also, Trevor says I've only tried the Estes method once and I got nothing. I suppose you'd have to try it a few times. I suppose it's with any other divination kind of. Well, I suppose sensory deprivation kind of experiment. You'd have to try it out several times to test it out fully. Also, Mary says, I work in a care home and the building's very old and there are spirits very active in the place. So a lot of the residents see a young girl. They're always talking about her. Okay. So keep your questions in if you want there, folks. We have more time to do it there. I don't know if I'm sorry now, Aodhan, can't bring you in because I think it's just slowing up, lagging up the system at the moment there. Sorry about that, Aodhan. But we're going to go, and if you're still there, Trevor, what I need you to do is put a number between 1 and 4. If you give me a number between 1 and 4, a number between 5 and 8, and a number between 9 and 12. So, Trevor, a number between 1 and 4, a number between 5 and 8, or a number between 9 and 12. This is for the competition. I'll give you a few moments there. Kathy says, anyone I know who has ADHD has an amazing connection with other energies.
Yeah.
You work in a hospital, don't you, as well, Louise? Is that true as well? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have experiences at work as well?
Yeah, well, some of the places I've been in as well. But you would notice some people like that with autistic tendencies and things like that, or who are autistic and or ADHD or anything like that. They have any of them. Yeah, they would say, "Oh, you know, can you tell them to quieten down in my room and all that?" And I'd have to go up there and be like, "There's no one up here, you know. There's this, you know." And then he'd be like, "Oh, but they're giving out to the kids." And you know, I'm like, no, there's no kids. Like it's nighttime now. You know, there's no one there. So, yeah, you would notice a few. And these people as well, like they genuinely wouldn't be like out to get anything from it. You know what I mean? They genuinely mean what they mean. Like, so if they're saying they hear this and they see this or whatever, you know, there's nothing that they're trying to get from it. You know, like it's just it's quite intriguing and it's interesting. Yeah. I would question about myself even having ADHD. So okay.
Going to be designer. So I don't know about the technical issue again, but we're going to talk about alternative dimensions, which is probably something to do with the internet. So it ties in well
Yeah.
at the moment there. So do you so Corey, I'll ask you this question: are ghosts spiritual, or are they more to do with another parallel universe, or something that's instantly running alongside us, or is it another universe in a different distance of time?
I think it could be
Another
kind of a mix
dimension,
of
sorry.
both. Like it could be something that's running alongside us, and we're just kind of happening to see almost what is happening on their side. Nearly is kind of a way I've looked at it at times, where you could be like I've got a voice EVP that kind of sounded like it was just a conversation happening like today or tomorrow, not something that was going back years ago. And it's almost like it was running alongside me and I just happened to have caught it at that time. And maybe it is that we're kind of almost in their world and they're also in our world, is kind of a way. I don't actually know, to be honest, but that's kind of just a way I've looked at it recently from doing more investigations. I'm kind of on the side that it could be a mix of pretty much anything.
I agree. Um,
And Louise, what is your point of view? Are they ghosts, or are they
yeah.
to
What
do
are
with
they?
death?
I know. Yeah. So that I don't know. That's my brain always keeps questioning what is this and what is that. So I I'd like to think there's like probably a mixture of stuff like that. There's possible, spiritual stuff like our consciousness maybe, that we're hanging around, or then there's possible like imprints as well, was that maybe from our psyche as well, that throughout the years. And then they say traumatic events and things like that, like maybe they're imprinted, like that stone tape theory and things. And then look, they go on about the different dimensions that there is. There's meant to be up to like 11 or something like that, and like sure, we're in third dimension, so there's a lot there, which I find that actually all very intriguing. That kind of like, we're in the third one, so like what does it mean for the other ones? And and like as they say with bees see in different frequencies than what we see with our eyes, and I suppose that's kind of what I was just trying to say, about the cameras and the stuff, like, we are, unfortunately, like we have senses, and some of us are very in tune with that, and we can tune in, but other, like animals, dogs, they can sense stuff a lot differently to us. And the same like that with the bees. There was a man there recently on RT News. I don't know if anyone's seen it, and he was saying that he was communicating with a tree, and he has a computer now
I
set
saw
up to
that.
the
Yeah.
tree, and he's saying that this tree, and I did read that actually recently enough, that there is actually a communication, and that the trees depend on the oldest tree that's there, and that oldest tree that communicates then to the rest of the forest. So again, that's something we can't see, we can't hear, but it's going on. So definitely, I think when it comes to that kind of stuff, and then the dimensions, like there could be bleed throughs, as they would say, true. You know what I mean? Like, are we like that? Sometimes you're picking up nearly robotic, like hello and different things like that. Is it interdimensional? Is it extra dimensional? There's a lot. There is a lot with when it comes to dimensions and stuff like that. But I'm kind of open for it all, whatever, But that's why I feel like I kind of sometimes don't know what way to go, because there's so many avenues, and if you start going down that route, your mind can get very bit lost at
I
times.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, when you're talking about, I suppose, like you're looking about, yeah, I suppose when you're talking
Yeah.
about the potential, like chemical energy, which is a potential for something to manifest, the actual energy, and you're talking about, say, this energy is then moving. So like some sort of combustion, kinetic energy. Then you wonder about that, but then is it something to do with our consciousness relating to stuff there? I was asked a question then as well. What was it? Some fellas said that there's no evidence to suggest there's life after death. But I said to him, who gives the order that, you know this yourself, Louise, because only trained practitioners can give the final call that somebody's dead, and sometimes they don't get it right.
Yeah.
That's true, isn't it? Obviously, but as well as AI technology as well in the future, they actually get in a conscious mind as well in the future, and so we don't know if they are going to be the god themselves.
We could be in an
and their
AI
take on things, and there's a sense of see what's
simulation.
around us, like yeah, true, yeah. You start,
There's Matrix going on.
you know, it's so interesting, you know. Like Mary says,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mm.
parallel universe. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
There, I'll come to you second. Now, Louise, ask Corey first.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah, because when something happens and it feels like you're not meant to see this kind of thing, or you like, I find it with deja vu all the time that like I'll have experienced something and then like a couple of weeks later that will happen and I'll be like, I seen this before, and it just feels like you are kind of crossing over this universe kind of thing where you're kind of slipping in between one and the other, and I don't know, it makes my head feel weird. But like it does kind of feel like you are just kind of slipping in and out of these different realms the whole time. Especially when you're doing the paranormal and you're investigating and you're kind of opening up this sort of stuff. It does feel like you're
And
kind of almost messing with something that you shouldn't be, but then you're also experiencing this and investigating and trying to figure out what actually is out there.
It's like we were saying, remember, like we find they don't
what
seem to
do you
want to
think
give a
about
certain
that,
answer.
Louise?
Oh, yeah, no, I find like that. I agree. You know, you're here one minute and then you could be just gone for a split second. But as they say, like space and time, there is no, you know, for you that's a split second. But like, what is that really? It could be a lot longer. If
Yeah.
I make sense, like so, yeah, I do wonder about that stuff, and I don't know, my mind just, yeah, but that's what I'm trying to
Well,
incorporate
going
when
on
we're
to like parallel universe.
sorry.
So I'm just going to show. No, you're okay there. Sorry, there's a time delay. Going technical. Another parallel universe. So I'm going to show a video. This is amazing. I saw this the other day, Louise. You sent it me there. This is in I think by football picture is saying there, and it's take a look at this, folks. There, this is what Louise saw in the sky around where she lived.
Then was it like?
Okay, so can you explain there what was happening there, Louise, with the video?
Yeah, so as you can see, there's that big bright white light. So basically, over that far end, there's I don't know if anyone's been to Dundalk, but there's a Dundalk Bay. Basically, there's like an estuary, just kind of near where that light is. and the mountains there, the Cooley Mountains and things like that, they're just over the far end. So you can kind of see with the video, you can see a few car lights, and they're kind of like more yellowy looking, and you can see them going along the mountain. So this bright white light, I'm still not too sure to this day what exactly it is, was above those car lights. There's not much. There's a handful of houses out there, but there wouldn't be that much. I know, Corey, we've been talking about going out there and just kind of checking out the area, just to kind of maybe can we work out the latitude, and see, work it out maybe exactly where that was. But on the night, I remember saying, Niall was with me as well, and we were walking the dogs. We couldn't hear a sound from it. Usually you would hear the helicopters or so. And it looks, even though it looks quite big in that video, it was actually a lot bigger. What we could see through our own eyes, you know what I mean? But the camera seems to take it like a lot smaller. But yeah, I don't know. There was no sound from it, and like that, the what you call them, the droids or
Drones.
the drones. Sorry, the droids. The drones would be, I think, a little bit smaller, and I think they flash as well.
Yeah.
So you can still see me, can you? Sorry, did I go off there for a second? Yeah, sorry. So
You're okay.
Sorry. I was going to say. So what these? Why do you going back completely to something different again, back from the kind of extraterrestrial kind of stuff as well, and UAPs there, UFOs, ghosts. What do you know why they don't notice us, or are they kind of ignorant to us as well?
I wonder, is it
Probably ask
that
Corey
they're
this.
kind of.
Oh yeah,
wonder is it that they're kind of shy to us? Like, I kind of find if you go somewhere to investigate, you're nearly better off going once to try and have a look at the place, and then you need to kind of go multiple more times after that to actually kind of get something to happen. Like, there's an old farmhouse in Fermanagh that I've been to called the Cooneen Ghost House, and there's a whole story about the family. There was meant to be a poltergeist in the house and all this, and I went one time and absolutely nothing happened. K2, nothing went off. It was like you were just walking into a new built house. And then I went up probably 6 or 8 months later, went in, and it was an extremely active night. Cat balls were going crazy. I was getting kind of direct answers to questions. I done a small little Estes method, and I got a name that relates back to the family that lived in the house. So it's almost like when you go, they're kind of shy in the beginning, but then when they know almost what you're there to do, they'll kind of come out a little bit more, but still be that kind of timid, shy. And then kind of when they know what you're there doing, they'll probably interact with you a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's kind of like you have to keep going back to almost to get the evidence that you're looking for. Like, you can go in once or twice and get, a little bit here and there, but I think when you go more and more and you try and uncover more stories in it, I think it's when it becomes a lot more interesting.
Yeah, you don't know.
And Louise, what's your thoughts about say residual ghosts?
Like that. I do wonder, is there different kind of areas or degrees of different, say, is it spiritual, is it residual, is it, and then if we're interacting, is it maybe extraterrestrial, is it interdimensional, there could be a varied of different forms or whatever that's there as well. And then do they have rules that they have to go abide by, because I find some days you go like that, Corey, when you get familiar with a place, you're getting hits and you're getting, wow, there's great names, and they're giving us dates and years, and you're just on a good go. And then other times you could be there and it's very yes, no, that's it. We're not going to give you much answers, and there's certain things as well they won't give you as well, the answers, whether there's a thing that they're just not allowed to say, or I don't know, or we're just not able to tap into it just yet. We just don't know how to figure to actually hear them properly.
Yeah.
and it's just our technology that we're using at the moment. We only can hear the initial energy that we give out, or that they give out, but we don't hear the rest of the sentence, or you know yeah, there's a few things. So I don't know.
If there's another reality, can we say if there's another place, even if we are still alive, say like yourself, Corey, can you be like people say about residual energy, like the stone take through that people can hold it when they pass away, they hold this trauma. But can you hold that trauma still in the building when you're still alive, like in your bedroom?
I think it probably could, yeah. Like, there has to be something that will hold on to it. And I think if something was to happen, it would kind of imprint itself in the room, almost like a memory. And then, even like, say, if it was a bad memory and you walk into that room, you're still going to get that memory. So I think then, as you pass on, it'll probably stay.
And what do you think about that, Louise? That can still like be residual energy alive?
Yeah, I do wonder as well, is a lot of it, a so basically right time, right place type of thing. So maybe, you're in a certain area and there's a solar flare, say, going on, and there's something with the lava and there's magnetic stuff going on, and you're going through a traumatic experience at this particular time. I do wonder, does that help as well with an imprint? So like, tape recorders that we're listening, with the old tape recorders, the cassettes and things like that, the way they imprint our sounds through magnetic waves and things like that onto. So I'm just wondering, I know yeah, I don't know, I'm mixing up stuff there, but just, I don't know, is it like that, like I said, right place, right time, you're going through stuff, and does it increase our energies? Maybe we're sensitive to that too, and it's increasing, like, like we're feeling bad that day, but then whatever's going on, the environment around us is making us feel even more that energy of anger or whatever. And without us knowing, we're then putting it into the walls, or we're putting it out there, or like poltergeist kind of stuff, what they say with the younger, especially females, when they're growing up and things like that, stuff starts to move and things like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I don't know, but I do wonder, is there a lot of
Yeah,
different
yeah.
things
They
of
say about I suppose yeah, yeah. It's like they say with poltergeist activity PK that there's those micro just micro motions, like so things will start to move that you can see things supposedly moving. But is that to do with quantum physics? Like what kind of environmental factors can cause that to happen? And I suppose there's loads of environmental factors. I suppose you could talk about vibration, wind, air currents, also seismic activity there as well. Combustion, heat as well. Also, Kathy says residual will never harm you as they are just stuck in a repeat of time. Some ghosts are protective of a place and feel the need to stay there. Alien energy has a different feel to it. It's more highly charged. What's your point of view on that there, Corey?
Yeah, I'd love to do more of like the UFO hunting and stuff like that, because I think it's not done a lot here at the minute, and it's something that it's always fascinated me, because I've watched like ET growing up and stuff, and that's always stuck in my head. And it's just like, I'd love to actually go out and experience something like that. And like that video Louise got, I'd love to actually see something like that with my own eyes. And as you were saying, residual will never harm you. I've never kind of felt that a residual energy would do anything to me. Like that day I was in the Cooning ghost house, it was actually like not a scary experience. It was more like it wanted to play with us and kind of just like interact with me the whole time I was there, as if like, nobody's kind of been there, and I don't know, 6 months, and then you kind of show up and you're like, can you touch that cat ball? And then they see the cat ball going off and they're like, oh, this is interesting, and kind of, keep going back to it, is kind of the way I'd feel with it.
Yeah.
Mary's made a message there. Just ask your opinion on there, Louise, because I think you visited Loftus, have you, Louise, in the past?
No, I didn't get going. I was going to go and then
Mary
missed out
says
on the opportunity. Sorry.
Oh well, there might be another chance in the future. But Mary says there was some very dark all over the years. A geopathic stress test was on the building, and it uncovered 2 sets of ley lines that crossed in the house itself, thus giving energy and allowing the traumatic incidents being replayed over and over again. Ley lines. Do you believe in ley lines, Louise?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I would. It makes sense to me. So yeah, it does. Yeah. I wouldn't be very good at finding them. I know you can.
Sorry.
I think, there's probably a time delay with the speech.
Yeah, I know. So there's a bit of delay on my side there. So I know you can use dowsing rods or pendulums. They can work there. I suppose the thing with ley lines as well. Then you got to think then how the Earth is curved. Do they actually, are they straight, and how big is the line as well? So that's nobody. I don't know. Has there been any? There's been papers done on it, and people have written about it there, but I don't think there's really, to be honest, is there any real scientific reason for them to be actually there? What is it made up of there? But everyone's to their own as well, so it's worth doing dowsing and pendulum work as well, So anyway, Trevor, sorry, I forgot to mention it there. Trevor, you picked up those letters. We're going to do the competition now there, folks. And it's Trevor, you were correct. You came out the cookie jar. You gave me the numbers. So I'm going to play this video. It's an astral travel video. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. You picked the numbers 3, 7, and 9. So we're going to see how you do with this competition. So just bear with me there. Sorry, folks. It's very slow technical side today. So you picked number 3, 7, and 9. So let's see how you get on there, Trevor. There, Trevor, first. Let's see how you get on. Oh, wow, you won £10. Trevor, you won £10 so far. €10. Now you can see if you can double that the next round. You picked number 7. So we're just going to wait now. You picked number 7, so that's £10 already you've won. Lucky number 7. Astral travel. Let's see how you get on now. Number 7. €10. Geez, that's a pity now, Trevor. I don't know if you can see that, but it's game over. Number 7, unfortunately. And can you see that there, lads?
Yeah.
Can you see that, Louise and Corey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, just for the sake of it, we're going to put number 9 there. What would be number 9? We're just going to check now. So you won €10 anyway there, Trevor. This would have been number 9 anyway. Oh, damn it! You would have won €40.
Oh, well.
Damn it then. Oh well, so that's astral travel, and I'll come to you there, Trevor, after the show or tomorrow there, and you won €10. I can pay you out there. We can wait till the end of the season, and you might want to go in the competition again, and I can give you more money or prizes, whatever you want there. I hope you keep it well yourself and Tara as well. Forgot to mention it. Sign up for the technical difficulties tonight there, folks, there. Tell us what have you got coming up in the future there, Louise, or what have you got coming up in the future and how people can find you?
Yeah, so we were just kind of getting ourselves a bit more organized there because like that we're relatively new, and so we just wanted to get our insurance and stuff like that up and running. But we just have to plan out now. With us, we were saying we're going to have a little meeting now in the next week or two and just plan out where we're going to go. But we're interested in the military museum as well because that's not too far from us here.
Yeah.
There's a few usual spots, but we're trying to look into a few new places as well, just to see if they'd be open to letting in a paranormal team. And yeah, so just have to wait and see. But hopefully we will be doing a few lives as well. Now
And
we will
how can people
keep them
and how
small.
can people contact? And how can people contact you or find your page?
So like that, we're on Facebook. We have YouTube, and then myself and Corey have our TikToks as well. So probably the Facebook would be the best if you're trying to get in touch as well. And I have the email address as well on that Facebook page. We do have a Facebook group as well. Probably too many pages and things like that going on. It's a bit hard to try and keep on top of. But yeah, there's plenty. Most platforms, I'd say, if you just type in our name, and see if it does come up. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anyway, and then myself and Corey have our own TikToks. So.
It's kind of like expanding to all different platforms to kind of give everyone a chance to see stuff because certain people
Yeah,
only
and
use, say, Facebook and certain. I think the delay is just killing us.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose the most larger audience is, I suppose, Facebook and YouTube. So they're the main ones anyway. They're the main sites there, which has got the whole generations of people that be influenced by those channels. Yeah, a few people have said it, but sorry, I can't put your comments up on the system because it slows down the feed there. But Joanne says locations are so expensive. Borden Bonkers says North East Paranormal Ireland. Yes, that's how we can find Louise, Corey, and Aodhan. If you want to find them, put them on YouTube, subscribe to them, Facebook, and also Instagram. Kathy says very expensive, too expensive to book for investigations now. Yeah, and it is kind of expensive that way. I think it's somewhere that's actually cheaper to go abroad for insurance there. And actually, your travel insurance, if you don't know that, are investigating, your travel insurance does cover your investigations. So if you're ever thinking of doing a paranormal investigation abroad, it is under that. I think it's under that kind of skiing, kind of snowboarding kind of section there that you're able to do, because people go on holiday doing paranormal investigations anyway, or go to tourist spots anyway and do it anyway. So you're covered in that there. Now, don't go take my word for it there to be sure, but just find out yourselves there. It might be cheaper to go abroad and do investigations there. Trevor says you guys should set up a link tree. And Trevor,
Yeah, we actually should.
Trevor and yeah. Well, I don't know. Trees. We talked enough about them today. I'm only joking. I'm messing. So before the last few questions, I'm just going to point out who's on the next show. We'll have we're going to have the insightful Kev Kerr of Kev Kerr Paranormal on the next show. Subjects for that evening include investigative techniques, psychology, and equipment. I will try and get the internet fixed by then folks, as well. I'm sorry about if I'm a bit lagging tonight there. Bonkers trying to link and kind of finger mime off, right? Okay, all right. So there, Louise and Corey. Anything else you'd like to say, or anything else?
I think kind of just watch our space because we have kind of big plans, and I think it's because we're only a new team, it's just going to get bigger and better as the months and go on. And I think, yeah, just kind of
You're very confident, Corey.
have to be
I'm the
confident.
pessimistic one, so yeah. I know. Yeah, no, we just want to try a few new. Oh, sorry,
Sorry,
Auntie.
Louise, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, we just want to try a few new things like that, maybe with the UFO stuff, and maybe try like the CE5 experiment as well. Just see, and I've heard of people using the CE5 experiment as well for when they're doing ghost hunting as well. So, and they find it somewhat good. So that's something we may consider as well. But yeah, we want to have just enjoy ourselves, and
Yeah,
just it's an interest of mine all my life, and I've always I just want to explore and figure out stuff, and same with Corey, same with Aodhan. We're not like we might put up videos and things like that, but we're not here for any thrills, if you get me. We're having fun, so that's really it.
that's it.
Yeah, but trying to discover stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and it's great there, and it's great that you're exploring the different avenues of doing the paranormal as well. It's not just about ghosts, it's all the techniques that are involved in it as well. And all that genres as well. He says definitely try UFO route also. Yeah, so folks, thank you, Louise, thank you, Corey, thank you, Aodhan as well. Sorry, now, folks, if it was technical issues tonight there. My apologies there. We won't see you next time. We'll see you in near distance. Goodbye for now. I'll see you soon now, folks. Bye, bye, bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Just smile and nods.
Okay, smile. Keep on smiling.
Okay.
It's a bit slow and stopper there. And 3.